Have you ever taken a DISC assessment or a Myers-Briggs personality test? These tools give us some interesting labels like introvert, extrovert, thinker, feeler, dominant, compliant, and influential. With these tools, you can sum up who and what you are in just a word or two. These personality tests, however, promise clarity, but only leave you with more questions or feeling boxed in. And you're not alone. I've been there too. I spent years trying to figure myself out, to land on something that felt like me, but none of the categories and labels really reflected all of who I am. Even in human design, which I use extensively in my coaching, people can get caught up in a particular type or profile or authority and use that as a definition of themselves. I've also gotten a lot of questions about how can human design tell me what to do with my life? But here's the thing. Human design isn't here to diagnose you or hand you another box to climb into. It's not about telling you who you should be. It's a starting point, a compass that points back to you. It's a way to remember who you were before the world told you who to become. I'm Suzanne Arjona, and this is Life on Your Terms, where human design meets bold truth and permission to be real. You've played the role, you did what was expected, and now it's time to show up as you. Learning about your design isn't a test to pass. There are no wrong charts or bad or good types. Your chart simply shows you how your energy naturally moves. So when you're feeling off, step back and compare how you're currently moving in the world versus the natural way your design shows you to be. Moving your energy in a different way may take some adjustment because you're moving away from what you're used to, but you'll feel more ease in your efforts once you settle into your most natural way to navigate life. And human design isn't an excuse to use when you just don't want to put in the work. For example, well, I'm a manifesting generator, so I don't have to stick with one project. Well, being a manifesting generator isn't an excuse to stop working just because things get tough. Following your design doesn't mean everything will be easy, but there will be ease in following your path. And for the record, I'm a manifesting generator, so I'm speaking for myself and the challenges that I and other manifesting generators have faced. So not only do you not fit into just one box or one label, but you're also not meant to be a shapeshifter either. Okay? You've spent your life trying to fit in, trying to be what your family or community wanted you to be. Now, when I was young, I used to draw a lot, like a real lot. I had folders and portfolios and notebooks filled with drawings. So, of course, I was encouraged to pursue that into adulthood. Maybe not as a commercial artist, because, of course, you can't make money doing that, but maybe as an architect or engineer of some sort, because I'm also really good at math. Neither of these appealed to me. So then I thought, maybe fashion design. It was the 80s, and fashion was pretty much a free-for-all, so how hard could it be to just be creative? And it was what many other kids in my high school art classes wanted to do. So I started looking into the Academy of Art and Design instead of Berkeley and Stanford. Well, that didn't last either. I did get a job right out of high school as a graphic design assistant. I left that job after about 2 weeks because I was in fact just a glorified secretary. I got in my car and I started driving. I didn't know where I was going or what I was supposed to do, but I knew it wasn't in any of those boxes. So I get it, not wanting to just be put in another box or labeled again or have to try to be something that I'm not. Now, one of the cool things that I found when I began studying human design is that I get to be me in all of my weird and unconventional being. My design doesn't look like anyone else's design, at least not anyone I know. And even if it did, my experience of it would be totally different from theirs. Case in point, You may know, if you followed me for a while, that I have identical twin sons. So of course, I was super curious about their human design charts. What surprised me most is that their charts are identical. Okay, I scoured every gate, every planetary influence, everything I could find just to try to find some little difference. But there was nothing. Those two charts were as identical as my boy's DNA. Now, granted, they were born just 2 minutes apart, but a chart can change with just 1 minute's difference in birth time. Or, depending on the movement of the planets, nothing could change over a period of time. So anyways, here I was looking at two identical charts. But I look at my boys and I see the differences in their personalities and how they operate. Their individual experiences in life influence how each one lives within his design. And that's my point in today's chat. Even having identical design charts, they will each experience life differently. They'll make different choices and they'll follow different paths. So you see, your chart doesn't tell you what to do or what path to take. And it's not another box. It's really more of a map. Okay, now maps show you all the possibilities. A map shows you different places you can go, as well as different ways to get there. It can also show you easier, more direct paths, as well as scenic routes or even routes that might be under construction or closed to you. Now, I mentioned earlier that I left my job and started driving. I had a map book so I could see the roads and the possible places I wanted to go, but I had no idea if any of these roads were blocked or backed up with traffic. I did make it to my various destinations, and sometimes it was smooth sailing and sometimes not so much. Well, the same goes with life. I experimented a lot in my younger days, living different places, trying different jobs and careers. Sometimes I made great choices, and sometimes I regretted choices almost as soon as I said yes. Now, understanding my design now, specifically my authority, which, by the way, is to wait before committing to a decision, I still experiment. I just do it with awareness and not blindly like I did with my old map book. So using my design is more like having GPS instead of that old map book. Both show me the possible roads to take, but the live GPS also shows me where I might run into trouble spots or resistance. I can still choose those paths if I want. Nothing's stopping me. I just know that the road might be a more difficult one if I choose to go that way. Ultimately, the choice is yours. You don't need to fit into a box or shapeshift in order to live up to someone's expectations. You get to make all your own decisions, and you have all the tools you need to make choices from alignment instead of from pressure or survival. And when you step out of the box, you'll see that you are so much bigger and have so much more to offer than could ever fit into any box. Now, this isn't about believing in human design or not. It's about starting to trust that your rhythm, your energy, your truth was never wrong, just hidden. Okay? And if you're ready to see what's been under the surface this whole time, start with your chart. It's not a label or a box. It's a compass pointing back to you. So that's it for today. If something in this episode lit you up, pass it along to a friend who's also ready to experience something real. And if you're feeling it, I'd love if you'd leave a quick review. It really helps me reach more people who are ready to live life their way. So I'll catch you next time. And until then, trust your design and live life on your terms.